Alright, savages, welcome along to Sceam Me Up Botty. We are doing more Star Trek in this episode. The original series, we're making our way through that. We're on to episode 22 of season 2. This episode is entitled By Any Other Name. So, plot synopsis, I'm gonna, I'm not gonna give you every last detail of the episode, but we'll skip over it, and I'll give you a few thoughts while we're going through it. So the Enterprise responds at the beginning of the episode. They respond to a distress call from an uncharted planet. A landing party beams down to locate the source and encounters a humanoid male and female, Rojan and Kalinda. They're from the Kelvin Empire. They immediately paralyze Kirk and the land party. They've got these little gadgets in their belts, and they can freeze you in your track as one of the powers that they show within the episode. They freeze Kirk and the land party and order Kirk to surrender the Enterprise. Rojan informs Kirk that the Kelvins originate from the Andromeda galaxy and have come to the Milky Way galaxy to find planets suitable for conquest. Since their own ship was destroyed by a negative energy barrier at the galactic rim, they need the Enterprise to make a 300-year return journey. Three other Kelvins beam aboard the Enterprise and quickly gain control of the ship. This guy Rojan orders the land party to a cave guarded by Kalinda. Mr. Spock uses his Vulcan telepathy abilities to lure her into the cave, where Kirk knocks her unconscious, seizes her control belt. Spock is thrown back out of the mind meld due to the Kelvin's alien physiology as punishment. Rojan orders the Kelvin Hanar to activate his belt. This transforms two of the landing party members into small, spongy, little block-like items. They're a bit chalk-like and their substance. Rojan picks up the blocks and tells Kirk that, this is basically all the elements that make up a human being, compacted down or whatever. But while they're in this state, they can be brought back to their original form again, unless, of course, this version is destroyed. At which point he breaks up the block and tells the other guy to bring the other person back into human form, and that was a male and a female of the land party that was transformed into these blocks. But the woman was kind of like new to the Federation. She was like in her first sort of exploration, her first sort of mission, first few missions, whatever, and very very new and, kind of nervous and whatnot, and very likeable little woman that Kirk. Definitely, in the opening of the episode, you could see that he was kind of taking her under his wing, more or less. But whenever one of these blocks is destroyed and then they bring the other person back and it is the other guy, it gives you that little bit of, fuck sort of a thing. So back in their cell, Spock relates the experience of his mental contact with Kalinda. The Kelvins, it seems, are not humanoid after all, but have taken human form for convenience. They are actually huge creatures with hundreds of tentacles. Kirk and Spock decide to adapt McCoy's neural scanning equipment into a countermeasure against the Kelvins' paralysis field. As a pretext for being back to the ship, Spock feigns illness by entering a deep trance. Been the Vulcan, he can go into a trance and you can pretty much look like you're dead, more or less. He brings his heart rate and everything down, and uses this to try and trick the Kelvins into, get them back to the Enterprise and whatnot. So the Kelvins transport the rest of the landing party and themselves to the ship. Spock concludes that penetrating the paralysis field projector's casing is impossible. This little device is in sick bay, if memory serves, and it's the engineering, and this is the source of the power for the belts that these guys use. If they can take that out, they can get control of the Enterprise. But it doesn't take long for Spock to figure out this isn't going to work. We're not going to be able to get through this. So instead, he has Scotty rig the antimatter system to explode upon contact with the galactic barrier if Kirk gives the order, though Kirk chooses not to activate it. So that was I skipped over that in a little bit. They say you get that little moment there where the galactic barrier's coming up, and they've got the chance to stop things here. Take out the Enterprise, take out the aliens, take out the threat altogether. But that means killing themselves, the whole crew, along with the ship. But Kirk and his love affair with the Enterprise won't allow that to happen, so he doesn't let it activate. So once the ship crosses the galactic barrier, the Kelvins reduce all personnel except Kirk, Scotty, Spock, and McCoy. They turn the whole crew into these spongy little block chalk-like substance things. Spock recalls more of his mental contact with Kalinda and reveals in their natural form the Kelvins have very weak senses and emotions, but in their present form they exhibit human reactions. Kirk decides to use their inexperience with physical and emotional stimulus against them. So we get a little bit of comedy at the end of the episode here where Scotty introduces the Kelvin engineer Tomar to the alcoholic beverages on the Enterprise, Syrian brandy, something green, which is the guy asks in the episode, and I don't think this is, I'm going to look just to skip forward to the reception. No, they haven't got that. There is a point in this episode where Scotty is essentially trying to get this alien drunk and spends the majority of the episode doing it, the majority of the end of the episode doing it. And there's one point where he brings out this drink and the guy asks, "What is it?" And Scotty looks at it and he goes, "It's green." He sort of half lit at this stage too. And if you skip forward in time to the Next Generation episode, can't recall the title of it, but Scotty does indeed make an appearance in Star Trek The Next Generation, and I'm looking forward to doing that on the podcast. But there is a moment on the Enterprise D where he's on the 10 forward, and he orders a scotch, and he's like, "No, this is not scotch. I don't know what you think, but this isn't scotch." So Data shows up and tries to get him something that's not the synthahol that the Federation normally use. It looks like alcohol, tastes like alcohol, but doesn't have any of the intoxicating sides to it. So Data goes in behind the bar and manages to find something that does have a little bit of a kick to it for Scotty to drink. And whenever Scotty asks what it is, Data says it's green. So that's referring back to Scotty's own line in the original series. But I digress. So eventually Scotty does get this guy to pass out from very, very old scotch, and he grabs hold of the guy's belt, the wee control belt, to take it to Captain Kirk, but passes out himself before he can get out of the room. McCoy injects Hannah with a supplement for an ilia that is actually a stimulant, and Kirk begins a flirtation with Kalinda, provoking jealousy on Rojan. Kirk is eventually able to goad Rojan after apologising again to Kalinda and to attacking him. My England does not sound good at all. So essentially what's happening here is Kirk is trying to use the sexuality to get throw these guys off their kilter sort of thing. So he's going after this girl Kalinda, and of course the Rojan, the commander of these aliens, now in a human form and not like the whatever alien-esque form that they are originating, is now experiencing full jealousy mode heading on towards the end of the episode, and he actually does let that overflow. He loses control, attacks Kirk, whatever. So Rojan, at the end of the episode, realising that Kirk is correct, I just jumped over something there. Kirk points out that Rojan is behaving like a human, and that his descendants will reach it's going to take 300 years, and they said earlier in the episode it's going to, we weren't the generation that started this journey, so it's like our great grandparents or whatever got onto the ship, headed across, multi-generational craft, and by the end of the episode, on their way back on the Enterprise, Kirk, he's like, it's all fine and well for you to take the Enterprise and go back to your home planet, but you're in this form of humans now, and it's going to take a few generations, and you're behaving like a human, and your descendants who reach Andromeda Galaxy will be alien inferiors in the eyes of the Kelvins. And realising that Kirk is correct, Rojan then relinquishes control of the ship back to Kirk, who then gives the order to return home to their galaxy, while sending a robot ship to the Kelvin planet with a Federation proposal would be the preferred option. The world in which Rojan and his people were marooned is suggested as their new home at the end of the episode. You can stay there and build something for yourselves. So very swift little episode here. Recording very quickly before I go to work today. The only thing I could find in the reception for this episode is in 2018, Collider ranked the episode the 9th best original series episode. So it is a very, very good episode, especially the comedic moments, especially with Scotty trying to get this alien drunk. It is classic Star Trek at its very finest. Right, that is going to do it for this episode, guys. As always, check out the website Coinsage Media for everything else I'm doing. If you want to contact the show directly, Gmail. What is the Gmail for this episode? Sceam Me Up Botty, the podcast name, Sceam Me Up Botty at gmail.com. Very easy to remember. And of course, I have to say, very easy to remember after I trip over my own words trying to remember myself before I said all out there. You big clown, you, will you wise the hell up? Right, that's going to do it, guys. I'm going to jump off here, get myself ready for work, and I'll talk to you tomorrow night with another episode of Sceam Me Up Botty. Stay safe.